Pop the hood, pop the hood, pop the hood. Oh, hey, hello. How's it going? 2005 Pilot, gonna change the oil. If you want to join me, I could take you along and show you what I do for our oil change. Okay, things you're gonna need. Place to put the oil and filter. You're gonna need gloves, towels to wipe off and to clean, funnel. Oil for this car is 5W20. I use high mileage, it doesn't matter. I just use conventional because that's what's always been in it. You're going to want a very specific filter wrench. The part number I have is 07AAA-PLCA100. I don't know if you can see that there or not. Roughly a 5 to 6 inch extension. And a wrench. It's going to be 17 millimeters on this one. Okay. Gloves. 17 mil, go ahead and make sure that you got it in a loose format so you don't have to fumble with it underneath. I always grab 2 paper towels, sometimes 3, because it's going to be messy. I don't care what you do unless you have a lift, and I don't have a lift. I'm not even going to use jack stands. So let's go ahead, prep your pan. So I pop the vent and take the drain plug out and slide it underneath the vehicle. And then I'll show you what we do with this. So right here, under this beautiful oily mess, is going to be the 17 millimeter bolt. And that's going to be your oil drain plug. As you can tell that we're leaking a little bit, but that's fine. So what I do first, because you can tell there's like next to no room here. So I'm going to loosen it first. And then I'm going to move that over there. I'm going to do it by hand. I'm going to get oil everywhere. I can't do this without getting oil everywhere. It's impossible. Thanks, Honda. And you're going to drip all up and down on this cross member here and your exhaust. So just be prepared for that. It's a messy thing. You're probably going to get oil on the ground. Not a big deal. Oh, good thing I didn't over torque that one. The first time I did this, it was so tight I dang near lifted the vehicle off the ground to get it. I had to bust out a hammer and everything. So you can back this up quite a ways before it actually starts to leak oil. In fact, there's some manufacturers, Ford, that they often complain about that they can't do this without. That's what I'm talking about. There's no room. I know. If I lifted the car, I'd have more room. I get it. But if you keep pressure against the threads, you can do minimal oil. Okay, so now I'm going to go up top to make it drain a little quicker. I'm going to go ahead and, no, I'll leave it for now. Sometimes I'll crack the oil drain or the oil fill. That way it doesn't create a vacuum, which I'm going to go do that now actually. You just let it drain and then you put you can change the little washer on the drain plug, but I don't. It just drips a little bit here and there. And you just snug it up. Oh, don't ever change oil when it's really windy out. Don't ask me how I know. Now I gotta find my drain plug wherever I threw it. I don't even know. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So we're going to go to the right since we're tightening this up. Plenty of room to get your fingers in there. Tons. Thanks, Honda. Just get in there tight enough so it doesn't keep dripping on you. And then you can move your oil pan, oil catch can, whatever you want to call it. Look, no drips. Another fun spot. The filter, passenger side. Pull back this plastic piece, and right here is the filter. So I'm gonna crack it, start spinning it. I'm gonna slide this underneath it and let it drain and catch the oil. That's cool. It's always when you're underneath the vehicle that stuff happens. I gotta go the wrong way. No, it's the right way. This is on there tight. Beautiful grip. Oh no, I think my wrench just fouled at the bottom of this. Little oil on your frame, it's just rust protection. This is one of the more messy oil change vehicles I've ever owned. Okay, I'll show you what to do with the new filter. Okay, I just have a STP oil filter here. Its part number is S7317XL, and I believe the XL simply stands for extra mileage. Don't trust it. 3,000 miles oil change, fellas. Okay, there's a big debate, oil in the hole or not. I don't worry about it. It's well lubricated already. I've had engines with tons and tons and tons and tons of miles on it and never had an issue. Okay, so you want to take oil. You can use new or old and lubricate the seal on your filter. And if you do pre-fill it, be very careful when putting it up because it will leak everywhere. And then hand tighten, quarter turn past tight. If you don't have good grip strength or your gloves are slick or whatever, just put the wrench on just barely with that socket adapter, just barely tighten it. It will tighten itself over time, trust me. So let's head back underneath the vehicle and install this quick. First thing you should do is get visual on your housing. And this is why. If you don't check to make sure that your gasket came off, it might adhere to the oil filter housing. And if you double gasket, you will for sure have leaks and have issues. So I'm gonna go throw this away and clean my gloves up and then spin that filter on and just snug it up. And then we can go to the top of the vehicle. There you go. Gotta get the right angle of the dangle. Okay guys, if your filter wrench gets stuck on the bottom of your filter, grab a small pry bar, a bigger screwdriver, something you don't necessarily care about. You can try to drive it, but it's really hard to hold and drive and not make a mess. So what I do is I stick it in here and I just work it back and forth until it finally comes up. And then you can clean everything up. Glad that didn't go in the mess. I hate having dirty tools. Am I right, fellas? Dirty tool's a no good tool. Seriously. I am going to go underneath and double check and just make sure that I have it nice and snug. I probably over tightened that filter last time, hence is why the gasket stuck, but it really wasn't that bad to get off. Buy a good tool that has a recess for this so your thing doesn't keep popping off. It gets quite frustrating. Okay, good to go. Okay, dipstick on this car has an orange handle right there, and here is the oil fill. As you can tell, most manufacturers will tell you the kind of oil. So this is conventional SAE 5W20, and I know with filter it's 4.5 quarts. You can be Billy Bad Bud all you want and not use a funnel, but I've learned my lesson too many times now. We got 5 quart 5W20 SAE motor oil. So once we get there, we'll just drop it to about there and it'll be fine, and then we'll check oil after a while. This engine bay is not incredibly easy to pour, so if you want a pro tip, pour sideways instead of like this. You get way more control going sideways. See, look at that. I almost don't need a funnel. I would have made a mess if I didn't have a funnel, FYI. Go, 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 go. If you're pouring way faster than your funnel can allow, it will spill out of the funnel and the filled neck. It's on level ground. Got about a quart left to do. See how much room you have and air you have with pouring sideways before you start to see it. You can always add, but you can't take out. Well, you can take out, just be a pain. Okay. We'll call that good. It's been a few minutes. That allows the oil to go through the heads and run down all the oil galleries down into the pan. So we want to check our oil fill level, make sure that we're appropriate. And as you can tell, we're right on the line. Look at that, perfect. Doesn't get any better than that. And so if you want to know how to do this, for the Honda, they got a gradated area. That's a quart low. That's right on perfect. And we were right there. And you can go either side. Some vehicles have dots. Other vehicles just say full. So you can use your discretion. But last thing to do is to start it up, let it get to operating temperature, then check underneath for leaks. No leaks. No leaks. I did dribble right there a little bit. That's because I moved the pan so we could film. That's a successful oil change.